Good afternoon, Fahad. Welcome in the Hospitality Majlis Podcast, our second episode. We're super excited to have that second one, move forward with it after the great success of the first episode. So thank you for being here and welcome to the Hospitality Majlis Podcast.
Thank you for having me. It's a pleasure being here, and honestly, I've been following you guys and I'm wishing you all the best. This is an amazing format and you guys are going to just rock it.
Thank you. Amazing. Yeah.
Thank you so much. We'll begin with the first question to you. Looking back at your journey across Meraas and Meydan, what's the one lesson that truly shaped your career in the hospitality?
Great question and a great way to kickstart this session. There's a lot, actually. It's difficult to pinpoint one, but something that really does stand out is keeping your audience front and center. I think that was something that was really important for us. And if you recall, and you may recall when Meraas started building projects, we were the rebels at that time.
Yes, true.
We were doing things a little differently.
What was that one project that was the most rebellious that you recall?
The first one was always the City Walk project.
Yes,
for me,
yes.
right?
Yeah,
because
correct.
it was taking you out of the comfort zone of developers, and you start focusing on the human scale development.
Yes, okay.
You know, it becomes something that's walkable, a city that's walkable in a market that was supposedly very seasonal.
Yeah.
You know,
Absolutely.
and we started pushing the boundaries.
Yeah.
For us, the understanding was, what does the guest want?
Yeah.
How do we address the needs of individuals? How do we address the needs of our investors? So it was always understanding who that audience was and putting them front and center. And this, to me, shaped a lot of my future professional career, and as well as the way I think and operate as a human being.
And it's great that Dubai facilitates and enables that, right? Because there's a lot of places that would not be the case. And look at the proof now. You have a City Walk 2 coming, I guess.
Yeah.
Definitely.
So there you go. So heads off to you. What would you say was the turning point or the spark that made you choose now to go into the entrepreneurial path in your career and maybe not staying in the corporate lane anymore? That difference. What was that spark for you?
It's an itch. I think entrepreneurship is an itch.
Okay.
You know, I've had that itch for a very, very long time. And I was taking care of that by doing small projects on the side.
Nice.
I did my first
Not tell anybody.
entrepreneurial... Please.
Yeah,
It's not recorded, right? So the first project I did was in 2009.
Okay.
I started a small project. It was a sports lifestyle based project. And again, I think it was something that was unique at that point in time. And it was successful.
Okay.
Commercially did well. I won't call it a home run.
Yeah.
Maybe it was a two-baser, you know.
Yeah.
So it did well, but what it really did was it built a community. So I said, wow, there is a lot of impact that we can do from these projects, right?
Yeah.
Commercial is part of it, of course, and anything
Yeah.
that you do, there has to be some angle of commercial viability to it. But it was, what else can we do? There's so much to do out there.
Okay.
Be it from impacting, so it's sports related
Yeah.
Okay.
back then.
Exactly. Okay.
So it was, how do we impact the quality of the kids' lives?
Yeah.
And 2009, 2010, it was still very early on where people were starting to get connected to their devices. Right? So parents used to come to us and say, how do I get the kids out? So we set up a small academy.
Okay.
Nice.
And from that small academy became small tournaments that we started to run. That small tournaments became a league that we hosted. And then it got to a point where we hosted, at that point, and I don't know if it has been surpassed, the largest inter-school league in UAE.
Okay.
Wow.
But on that question, and let me try to frame it there. So the reason for that entrepreneurship, right, or that itch that you talk about, was it? Let's be straightforward. Was it money, creating a legacy? Something meaningful, right? Or freedom. You get me? So there's a couple of reasons why that itch for you was what exactly?
So is there an all of the above answer over
Done.
there?
Yeah, okay. Done. Yeah,
no, but I think the drive probably was a bit of freedom,
Okay.
you know, to pursue passion.
Yeah.
That was where it started from. But to be honest, it's also enjoying what you do and the impact that you leave behind.
Yeah.
It became a part of it. Maybe it wasn't the primary goal when we first started off.
Yeah.
But then you realize there's also a sense of responsibility that comes with entrepreneurship as well.
True.
Internally as well as externally.
Yeah.
Internally with your own colleagues. And what do you do? How do you create something that they will be proud of being a part of?
True.
You know? And I never look at, and I know this might sound very cliched as an answer, but I never look at colleagues as employees, right? They're partners in this journey.
Yeah.
They're partners that will make this successful. They have a sense of ownership that comes across. So that became a part of it.
Nice.
Okay.
And then the impact that you can leave externally as well.
Yeah.
When people can look back at you and say, oh, you did XYZ project, we love that project.
Yeah.
Okay.
You know, it really was different. It was unique. It gave us a sense of, you know,
Not belonging.
excitement.
Yeah.
Excitement. Yeah, exactly.
You know,
Okay.
so that became another part of it. Yes, commercial viability, like I said, it's very important. You
course,
won't do anything if it's not commercially viable. And then we need to put food on the table as well, right?
Yeah.
Exactly.
But you should never start, and to me at least, I never start with that being the primary goal of why I'm doing something.
Yeah.
Okay.
I feel if I'm doing something because I'm passionate about it, I will be able to give so much
Much more energy, more anything. Anything.
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
Okay. Every entrepreneur hits a wall at some point. Was there a moment you almost gave up? And how did you push through?
In your short time or before? That's another.
Yeah. See, before it was very easy to push through, right? You always had the safety net
Yeah.
underneath you. You had a job, you had a 9 to 5 that you would go to. But recently, yes, I did. And it was actually so quite early on into the entrepreneurial push. It was a point in time where I was not able to find the right partners to believe in the project that I was embarking on.
Yeah.
Fortunately enough, I have a wonderful support network around me.
Okay.
That support network is not only family, which is extremely important, and they need to believe as
True.
well, right? Immediate as well as extended.
Correct.
They need to believe in what you're doing, but also from friends. And I'm fortunate enough that I'm able to rely on them
Nice.
to guide me in the right direction. And I love hearing, you know, that's a silly idea. Why are you pursuing it?
Yeah, exactly.
It gives you a moment to self-reflect as well.
Yes, correct.
Right? And sometimes it may start a conversation by saying,
Yeah.
will that really work?
Yeah.
To then you being so believing in that project that you convince the other side as well.
Nice.
This is why it will work.
Would you then, and actually an opinion which is quite often heard or misjudged, but you said friends, people you like to work with, family, etc. You do business with friends?
I do business with friends.
Okay.
And I have had both experiences on that side.
Okay.
The good and the bad.
Yes.
It's
So
risky.
It is
Yeah.
very
Yeah.
risky.
Yeah.
And a lot of people told me that is the most difficult thing to do. You know, it tests friendships. My first business was a business that I started with friends.
Yeah.
And now it's also another one that I've started with a friend,
Yeah.
right? And honestly, it's differentiating the two, which is very important.
Yeah.
How do you split
Yes.
personal emotions
Yeah.
from business?
Yeah.
Right? And it's difficult. It's not an easy, you know, there's not a simple guide of how you do that.
Correct. Yeah. There's no manual for it.
There is no manual for it. And whoever says there is,
No.
has not done business with friends.
Yes. Exactly.
But there's one thing that we've always set up as a ground rules for us, at least, right? It's what happens in your office space remains there. As soon as we walk out, you completely leave that ego behind.
Okay.
There's no
Yeah.
ego in anything,
No.
right?
Yeah.
Everyone has an opinion, and we've matured enough, and I've matured enough by having both experiences, the good and the bad,
Yeah.
where I don't have ego when it comes to these things, right?
That's amazing.
I might be wrong in many things, but I have my blind spots on.
Yeah.
Yeah.
How do I see outside of this. So there's a book I read called Principles by Ray Dalio. I suggest it to everyone. It's such a nice and simple way of doing things.
Nice.
And he says one thing that you should do just generally in business, you should have something called radical open-mindedness.
Okay.
And the whole idea
The radical is interesting.
Yeah.
it's very interesting because generally, again, the open-mindedness side of it is I go in with a formed opinion and formed point of view to any conversation, right?
Yeah.
This is what should be done. Rather than saying, is this the right thing that should be done?
Yeah.
Correct.
A very simple nuance, right? But once you do that, you're so open to taking opinions of others because you want them to challenge your point of view and then you're defending it.
Yeah.
Right? And that's where it becomes important. So these are the little tricks and trades that we started doing, to your point of doing business with friends.
Yeah.
And we've been fortunate enough to have that maturity in the office, the maturity between ourselves in these conversations, that you shy away from these relationships, the personas that you have.
Yeah.
And it's
fully
worked
agree.
well for us.
If I reflect back at some of the experiences I had as well, or I have, transparency is key.
Yeah.
Communication is, if not more important.
100%.
Being able and allowed to speak out and speak up, even if it's a friend you might hold back, etc. Don't do it. And this is where my humble experience has led me to as well. That it's super important indeed, and ego for sure. Looking at the past a little bit more and hoping to help some of the listeners in their way forward and maybe in entrepreneurship as well. In your toughest moments in the past, I'm sure there were moments where it was difficult. What is your why, or what is the principle or value that keeps you moving forward? Yeah, besides the radical, which you kind of mentioned already. But if there's anything else where we said, this is my why, this is we were talking about it already with, when you, the itch, right?
Correct.
Is there one that stands out there for you?
See, end of the day, always have the end goal in mind. Regardless of what you're doing in the short term, there are ups and downs. There are days where everything seems to be going against what you want to do. There are days where everything is going right.
True.
But these are small moments in the bigger picture.
Correct.
Never let go of that end goal.
Yeah.
Have that in your sight always. And I have these things. It might sound quite immature in explanation, but I think of it. Tomorrow is always a better day.
Okay.
Yeah.
Tomorrow I will get closer to where I want to go.
1% better every day.
1% better every day, right? And you will if you take a half a step back, one step back, two steps back, you know that the momentum will still push you forward. You know, and having that again, it sounds simplistic, but it is very important never to lose sight of that end goal.
Nice.
And during to your question, during that moment where I face these difficulties, having these conversations with your support network helped me realize that no, I'm still on that right journey. I'm still moving in the right direction. Let's push forward.
That big picture for me is another. I don't know why, I don't like helicopters, but I always say take a helicopter view on things.
Correct.
Or a macro view on things, and then
Correct.
say, in the big picture of things, this is nothing. Tomorrow is another day, and it might look completely different. So I think that motivates as well, right?
I really like how you are very positive in everyday base on all occasions. Can you share with us maybe a failure or a rejection that became kind of a blessing for you?
Failures? What does that mean?
There we
Never
go.
happened.
See, that's why we wear these long candoras. It hides the scars that we have underneath. I don't believe in failures as much as I believe in lessons. And I think with everything that goes right or wrong, there's a lesson. From my recent past, there was a situation where I had some disagreements on how things should be done, and in the moment of things you feel like, why it's very clear what we should be moving towards, what we should be doing. Why isn't not happening? Why is it not? But then you take a step back, you're like, you know what? Everyone has a different way of doing things. Everyone has a different way of valuing partnerships. Everyone has a different way of looking at life in general. Why should I always think of imposing my views on
Yeah.
others.
Okay.
If I don't believe that this situation is right for me, and if I don't believe that this is right for me, let me find my path. And actually, that's what pushed me towards the entrepreneurship journey. That's
Okay. Yeah.
Nice.
it's a very deep and a long conversation around that. But then, at one point, it was thinking, it's a missed opportunity. It's a failure on my part. I could have done that. I should have done that. I could have been in that position. But then you look at it from the other side, you're like, no, but that's where it got me to where I am today. These learnings that we take with us gets us to where we are today. So I've had these conversations, and I've had a lot of these life coach discussions where they always say, move away from all these negative connotations of failure, missed opportunity. No, it's a learning. It's a learning. We are where we are today.
Yeah.
It's because of everything we've gone through in our lives, right? The good and the bad.
Yeah.
And the bad probably teaches us more than the good.
Absolutely.
In a lot of times, right?
And you hear it so many times in entrepreneurs or hospitality, any industry as well. If you surround yourself with people that are positive and that are maybe that you aspire to be as well, you're going to be much more successful as well.
Correct.
And it pushes your, it increases the itch.
They say a bad apple in the basket will ruin all the apples, correct?
100%. And again, I think that to that point, something I always say, and it's a Confucius saying, is if you're the smartest guy in the room, you're in the wrong room.
Yes.
Right? Surround yourself with the right attitude, the right people, smart people, live, enjoy, learn. Again, from a failure perspective or from a growth perspective,
Absolutely.
you always want to hear all sides of things.
I think today we're going to have a lot of hooks of one-liners which are incredible.
I already passed the 3 of them.
But they're all true.
Yeah.
Past is the past now. Let's move to today. Fahad, so if you would have, and I think I know you like that question, but or you would like that question, if you had 24 hours without no phone, without a phone, no emails, no meetings, how would you spend it? And what does that teach us about balance in hospitality or entrepreneurship?
Honestly, what I would do is spend more time around the loved ones.
Of course.
Nice.
I think it's very simple, right?
Yeah.
They shape everything that we do. They're the foundations that we have, be it from, in my case, my immediate family, my extended family and friends. I sometimes do get the sense that I am maybe coming short in a couple of these places.
Okay.
And enjoying what I'm doing.
Okay.
But you always have that sense of guilt, right? You want to spend more time. And if I was to be fully present and able to move away from all these devices that kind of control our lives nowadays, and I have this habit of, with the smartwatch that I wear, it buzzes and I'm always constantly looking at what's the next message that has come across. It would be to be fully present during those moments and appreciating those moments, and probably also reflecting.
Okay. Is there a location in the UAE you would like to spend it?
Your favorite spot?
UAE as a whole has phenomenal spots. To choose one is very difficult. But I would probably go somewhere close by the beach to be around, the sun, sand between my toes. Okay. Take a dip into the sea for a time, and it's a moment in time where I think we should also reflect back and say we're fortunate to be where we are, where we have this beautiful country and city and environment and people around you, and really enjoy that as well.
Absolutely. Where would you go?
Me, sunset, beach, relaxation, just admiring the nature.
Yeah. Now that I'm thinking about it, I've never done it, but I would go hiking in Hatta and
Beautiful. Yeah. They have some fantastic hiking.
Yes, exactly. Yeah. Okay.
Nice.
After this.
Okay, so moving on, when you launched your first project, did you test it or just trusted your gut?
I always trust my gut.
Nice.
I always trust my gut. The first project, again, the sports project that I launched with my friends, it was because I felt there was a selfish personal need to see these facilities in Dubai. It was an indoor football place.
Nice.
And I was very active in that football space. And we couldn't find the right sites to cater what we wanted.
Yeah.
And we had a large group of like-minded people that were looking for these facilities and couldn't find it. Yeah. And my gut was like, this would be a fantastic.
So it was like a need, and you saw it as a vision.
Oh, 100%. And there is a fine line between going into too much of detailed market study, analysis, assessment, needs, wants, competition, so on and so forth, which is important to do, right? But there's sometimes the thing that, this is right.
Yeah.
This has already the sense that there is a lack of the market. Let's just go for it. Let's go for it. We will do that side of it, but let's focus. Let's see how we overcome these things. Sometimes we get so caught up, and I'm an accountant by background, so for me it's all about going into and an auditor on top of that. So it's risk on risk on risk, contingency and what's the plan. It's great. Yeah. But you can always do that while you're pushing ahead with the overall strategy. Yeah.
Which was one of those one-liners from our previous guest, which was straighten the camels on the road when you're on the road, right?
So, correct.
Yeah, not
correct.
So I would imagine indeed you as a accountant slash finance slash audit. Wow, then you would be even worse than me, because I'm always even looking at things from let's look at the numbers, the business plan, etc. But at the end, after a couple of years now, you said no, just go. Of course, there needs to be some kind of a plan.
Yeah.
But all right, cool. With your vast experience in hospitality and of course your deep understanding of local culture, for the people in hospitality listening, what's that one thing that you would advise or give as an advice to any leader or non-leader in hospitality itself?
Don't forget the human touch.
Okay.
I think in hospitality today, there's a lot of focus on the brand side of it. There's a lot of focus on technology. And these are important things, right? We can't let go of. But don't forget the human touch. We are in the people business, right? It's simple to say, but we truly are in the people business. Understanding the guest that's coming across, understanding the complaints that the guests put sometimes, right? What's the place that's coming from? The frustrations that they go through during their days, the harsh environments that they're coming from, the sense that, I'm not getting value for what I'm putting on, and the value differs from one person to another. Let's not forget that. And that's truly what we focus on. And the other thing is, we come from a region that has hospitality in our blood, right? So for us, it's very important to form these strong bonds with whoever we meet. If we meet for the first time, you see the level of hospitality, we go above and beyond.
True.
Because we want our guests to feel that sense of welcome.
Yeah.
So these are the things that we really want to keep on holding to. And part of our DNA, we always say, is people. We're in the people business.
Yeah.
And we should never forget that.
So on that topic, you being CEO of a reputed hospitality management company and brand with over 40 hotels, you have seen general managers who sit in the office the whole day and general managers who have been in the lobby the whole day. Which one is the best? There's no best, of course, but what's your opinion on that?
Honestly, it is a balance between the two. And that's a very easy way for me to get away from answering that question. But I think I've seen a lot of success from the managers that are on the ground, that have the trust of their colleagues as well, right, in the hotel, in the properties. And I, honestly, one of the properties that we are managing, I've seen a 180-degree change in performance and attitude.
Wow.
Because the new GM that had come into place was always on the ground helping on the guest side, helping on behind the front desk, helping on concierge.
Nice.
He was in the lobby
because he feels the pulse.
100%, and that's where he gets his energy from.
Absolutely,
right? And if you are sitting behind the desk, looking at reports, looking at numbers, looking at guest satisfaction surveys, so on and so forth the whole time, you're really missing out the pulse.
Yeah.
Understanding what that energy is like on the floor.
You might not know the tonation of what's been written instead of hearing it. All right, it's a different tone of voice.
100%.
It might an exclamation mark might be just a simple affirmation of something. All right.
Hospitality lives and dies by its people. What have you learned about building strong teams that others can apply in their hotels or restaurants?
Should I give away my trade secrets?
Yes.
This is my secret sauce over here.
Yes.
Being honestly, it's in our business. It's a people, right? We start off from our corporate office. I am so selective when it comes to building a team. It's front and center to everything we do is the culture that we're trying to build.
Nice.
I will have someone that, as an example, is a 7 out of 10 when it comes to credentials, right? But he's a 10 on 10 on strategy versus someone who's 10 on 10 on credentials and 3 on 10 in terms of culture fit. I would always go for the 7 on 10.
Nice.
Because a culture is something that should be so important to you that a bad apple can spoil the bunch. And the same thing happens in offices. So for us, it's always working together as a team, you know, and Simon Sinek has this great example of Navy SEALs and how they select their candidates, right? And that is so true. I've seen both sides of it. I've had teams where I went for that one person that would have changed us from a performance perspective, but it had such a negative impact on the culture of the office that I put my hand up and said, I was wrong.
Yeah.
I take the full blame for that, you know? But to continue on that, this is from a culture point of view, right? And the second thing is, in the hospitality business, we need to take care of our people and our colleagues before anyone else.
True.
The rest will follow.
Yeah.
Because in hospitality, if you have your colleagues that are motivated, that they're taken care of, that they work with a smile on their face, they work with full energy, she will put in such a phenomenal performance and phenomenal work ethic that the guests will start feeling it.
Nice.
And you cannot hide away from just having policies and procedures and, you know, a rigid line of operations. In hospitality, it's all about characters, right? And you want those characters, these bubbly characters to come off. And when the guests start feeling it, you start building that reputation and that repeat business. And when that happens, the owners are happy because they're getting the return on their investment as well, right? So the whole cycle starts with our people and our colleagues. So this is where we spend a lot of time. And as a leader, for me, most of my time and energy, I try to meet every single person. In corporate office, I meet everyone we hire,
Nice.
regardless of position.
Yeah.
In the properties, I make sure that the leadership team has the same values, so they do the same also for their teams.
Yeah.
Right?
Because you can teach everyone accounting, strategy, 100%. Industry, but you cannot teach them values, education, culture.
Correct. Culture cannot be taught.
Yeah.
Culture, it's very difficult to teach someone culture, especially when they're set in their ways. You know, we the older we get, unfortunately, the reality is the more set in our ways we also do get, right? So it becomes very difficult. But you're so right. The technical skills you are able to teach, right? Our industry, as glamorous as it is, and as
is it
from the outside world looking in, it is quite glamorous. It's not, I always say it's not a difficult industry, you know. The principles are relatively simple. Executing on these principles is where you need to have the right attitude.
And that's exactly where we're tapping into the next question, by the way, Fahad, is if somebody would start today, or he's a manager, a waiter, supervisor, whatever he might be, what are the advice or the tools or the values that you would give that person, or the smartest way to build that career and move up into the ladder of hospitality, which, like you just said, I don't think it's rocket science, but it's about applying them rigorously and what is your point of view on that?
Attitude.
Okay.
I think it's simple as the attitude. How far do you want to climb up the ladder It's on your attitude and how you apply yourself.
Yeah.
And again, simplicity of understanding the industry is one thing. Application is something that's completely different.
Yeah.
How do you take a difficult client, customer, guest, and how do you deal with it?
Yeah.
Right? How do you take negativity that could come in, or an issue that comes up on in the property, something that happens? How do you take it and turn it into a positive? How do you work through that? How do you have that grit?
Yes, correct.
To push through on that. The industry is so rewarding when someone applies him herself that you shouldn't take that for granted, right?
Absolutely.
It's put in the effort, put in the hours, put in that right attitude, and great things will happen.
Absolutely.
We value in our company, we value our colleagues and growth so much. I'd rather see all of our future managers, future GMs come through the system, come
Nice.
through the ranks,
Yeah.
grow up with us, right?
Correct.
And fortunately enough, our platform is large enough. We're today at 40 plus hotels. By the end of next year, we're looking at 60 plus, and we're growing.
Wow.
Nice.
So there are opportunities for people to grow through that with us. You need to put in the effort. You need to have the right attitude, and growth is there for you
To
Nice.
build that legacy. Huh?
to build
Yeah.
that legacy.
So, but on that point, I wanted to share something as well, and for everybody who's listening as well, not bad as a support is. I think 10 years ago, I had the opportunity to follow 2 days of leadership course by John C. Maxwell, and it was the 5 levels of leadership, and that was phenomenal. And until today, I followed these, and what you just said about grit and
Yeah.
following those things and discipline, attitude. If there's a couple of things in your mind that you follow, and you follow them with discipline, the path might not be that difficult. Because of course, let's be frank, if we would now say to a manager in a hotel, which I'm sure there's a lot of them listening, yes, but my boss this and my boss that, and I didn't have the opportunity, etc. John C. Maxwell talks also about leadership, but upwards leadership.
Yeah.
Correct.
Not only as a leader looking down, it's the other way around. So what is my rapport with my boss? Okay, or my leader? Maybe the rapport is not good because of me, right? What is my success towards him? How does he think of me successfully? What do I mean for his career?
Yeah.
Upwards, yeah. All of this together, if that's spot on, then there's a no-brainer. He will help you, he will support you, mentor you, etc.
Correct.
If not, there are still non-perfect leaders as well.
Correct.
Move on and find other opportunities, I would say, right?
But that's
Nice.
life, right?
Yes, correct.
The life doesn't always give you roses.
No.
But you have to know how to deal with the other side
Yeah.
as well.
Correct.
You're 100% right.
Yeah.
And sometimes that upward management is so important. You take for granted, I'm doing it right. Yeah,
Mhm.
you're doing it right on your way.
Yeah.
But that doesn't mean it's right for your boss.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right? The manager wants to see something done a little differently in his way.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And you're
I want
absolutely
I want a
right.
promotion based on what, but I didn't have a annual review. Did you ask for a review? Yeah, and in the review, did you ask? Look, I think I'm okay. I'm a 9 on 10, but what is that one? Or what do you think? I'm a 7.
Yeah.
So that conversation, I think, also in a lot of reviews, annual reviews, is very flat and not deep enough. Sometimes that
Correct.
happens as well in the industry.
Yeah.
Yeah. So then you actually the person who evaluates you will not give you the real reason
Yeah.
why you might not have that promotion or not. Yeah, it could be as simple as your English is not good enough, whatever it is.
Correct.
And sometimes they're not.
You're right.
They don't dare to say it.
Yeah.
I've seen this in real life as well. Let's go to the future.
So we
Innovation.
covered the motivation, education, and now innovation.
Yes.
What lessons from your Emirati heritage or cultural traditions do you carry into the workplace today?
Or tomorrow.
It's all about hospitality. Everything we do is about hospitality. Growing up in UAE, the guest coming across was annoyingly so important to us, as a family, to make sure that they get the right experience. The house is done well, it's clean. Guest comes first. Make sure that it's served from the guest then to the rest of the audience over
True.
there. we've grown up in a way that this has become part and parcel of what we do. We need to be so proud of that and reflect that in everything that we do in our industry, right? When we go to the check-in counter, how you greet, how you have that smile. When in this region, when you serve coffee, how you serve coffee, you know, what do you give with that coffee?
Yeah.
These little touch points go such a long way, you know? And again, we sometimes take these things for granted because everything is moving in such a different fast-paced direction. Other areas of focus have come front and center. We need to always go back, take a deep breath, and really understand what is it that we, as a culture from this region, can also give in the world of hospitality.
Yeah, I don't have a side question. Looking ahead, Fahad, what do you see as the most exciting opportunities in terms of innovation in this region or the UAE in hospitality itself? There's so many things, of course, we hear about. Is it from AI to systems, technology, whatever it is.
Technology.
But what do you see as the biggest innovation coming up, or one of the biggest ones in?
For innovation to really succeed, you need to have an audience that is accepting of innovation, right? And I think in this region, we're not shy of accepting innovation. We take innovation head on and embrace it, right? We'll be the first to do something. It doesn't work. We're like, we tried it out. At least we gave it a try.
True.
Right? There's a lot of great innovation coming up. Again, from our side, from hospitality perspective, the one thing we always say is, how do we utilize this innovation, technology, AI, systems, big data, robotics, and what have you, to enable us to serve our guests better?
Yes, correct.
So from our side, there's a lot that we're looking at. We're looking at the simple things as AI chatbots and call centers. You know, this has become so bread and butter and easy to do now, the amount of strong products that are out in the market and how we utilize it. The second area which I really like and we are really pushing forward on is understanding our guests better. So on the loyalty side, how do I build that experience to a guest coming in? Renata comes to our hotel and we know that she likes sparkling water, not still water. How do we make sure that that's replaced in her room before she comes on board? She likes to have the hard pillows, not the soft pillows. How do we make sure that we change those things? Because for me, as a guest, that's a lasting memory that comes. Oh, they remembered me.
Yeah.
Welcome back. We've already made that change.
Yeah.
Amazing.
The pink slippers are ready.
I love that.
The pink slippers.
I'm coming soon. Okay. Many young Emiratis look up to leaders like you. What's the one piece of advice you would give them if they want to shape the future of hospitality?
There's a lot of hard work that goes behind it. Nothing comes easy, but if you are willing to go through a journey and work hard and have a goal in mind and a direction to go to, you can easily achieve it. So put in the hard work, put in the hours, and you will really be able to achieve whatever you set your mind to. With the generation that has come through, they're used to change. They're used to being able to decide on what they want to do and pursue it, which is fantastic. But there also needs to be a bit of that no. Get that no. You know, get that negativity because that's where you grow as an individual. You grow as a young person that wants to make it in this industry, right? Don't be set in what you think is the right way to do things. Listen to others around you, your colleagues, your employees that are reporting into you, or your bosses, right?
True.
Learn from everyone and listen and adapt to what the consensus is telling you is the right way to do it, right? And this is, I think, something that I've also learned. I've learned it the hard way, where I'm a stubborn individual. I might not seem it, but I'm stubborn, and I used to be very set in my ways. I had to change how I approached work, how I approached life. You know, it's not only one way of doing things, right? There are many other ways of doing it, and sometimes your way may not be the best way of doing it.
It is exactly what I wanted to just ask you on that point is how I don't want to say frequently or to what extent or how many times would you, if you do 10 times, how many people around you would you ask, you think this is a good thing to do or not?
Yeah.
And that's what you just said of friends, right? That you say, okay, look, I have this idea. What do you think?
Yeah.
Oh, what are you talking about, right? So, but asking those questions, in my opinion, and feel free to share if and Renata as well, is if you have that idea, asking questions and getting that feedback is much more successful than not doing it and still be stubborn and going your own way. Right?
100%. And the problem is, as human beings, we always go for the affirmation bias, right? Find someone who agrees with you and say, yes, I knew this was the right way of doing it. It's always great to get that other point of view as well.
Yeah, correct.
You might be right, and they might.
It will
be the
open
best
your
way.
mind.
It will open your mind. It will force you to ask the difficult questions that you've been shying away from asking.
Yeah.
You know, and in certain things, it's always great to get multiple points of view. But there are certain times when you know that something is right and the gut tells you this is the way you want to do it because it is different, it is unique, and it works. But of course, in my life, probably 90% of the time is where I do have a circle of trusted people that I would go to and ask for opinions or ask for guidance or ask for advice. There is a 10% where I'm like, you know what, no, this is it. This is the right thing. I feel it. I feel it right here that this is what has to be done, and I go for it.
Yeah.
When I came to the UAE 12 years ago, that's one thing that really fascinated me and which I really liked as well and opened eyes is how open Emiratis in hospitality are to ask questions.
Yeah.
They learn so fast by asking questions and just improving themselves constantly, right? Because indeed, hospitality 20 years ago was not what it is now. Now you have people like you in that generation who actually lead companies, and before there's a lot of expats coming in, and then the don'ts and the do's. But those questions were crucial to the success what it is now.
100%.
It's incredible to see that that development.
Nice.
If you would have a magic wand, is there anything that you would change in hospitality tomorrow? And don't hold back.
Is it only to change in hospitality? There's a lot of things I'll do with that magic wand that change around. In hospitality, I think the one thing that I would do is go back to the essence of what hospitality stands for. You know, and I think over the last few years, a lot of us, and I'm guilty of it as well, has been so focused on procedures, policies, that rigidity that has been unfortunately put in place. I have a standard. I need to work within these standards. I need to work within these boundaries without having the ability to be a little more relaxed in and having a human conversation, human to human conversation, having something that is more personable, having something that's more hospitable, having something that is more genuine emotions. I think that's something that we are trying to change, and change is never easy. Right?
I don't think it will be easy with, of course, the whole social media, phones, etc. It's going to be a massive challenge moving forward to improve even that improvement of communication towards and hospitality 100%. Itself.
And people are embracing technology in a way which is great, but going too much towards this direction. I'll give one example where you always have the self-check counters now, right?
That's self-check-in, yeah.
It works for some people. It works greatly for some people.
Yeah.
But for me, I will never be able to do it, not because I don't know how to use it. It's simple, and they've done it in a way that's extremely simple. But I want to have a conversation with someone on the other side. You know, I want to ask the questions. I want to ask about facilities. I want to ask about neighborhoods. I want to ask about culture. I want to ask about how they're doing. You know, as simple as that. But that seems to be a direction that a lot of companies are moving towards, and a lot of people are being pushed towards that direction, right? Where you don't have that option anymore. So that magic wand will be to give options, maybe.
Okay.
Fantastic.
Yeah. Thank you very much. We're already an hour further, so thank you very much for your insights, for being here, for joining the table with us here and the podcast. Super insights. I hope people on the other side of the studio are hearing, learning from this, from the past, present, and then moving forward to the future as well. Anybody who has questions, feel free to join us at the Spotify account.
Apple Podcast.
Yeah, that's what it is.
YouTube as well,
and Instagram, right?
Yes.
Super.
It was fantastic to have you here. Thank you so much. And
Thank
if
you,
you enjoyed our podcast, don't forget to follow, like, and share.
Always.
Thank you, Fahad.